Alrighty guys, welcome back. It's your host, Jester. It's time for some Jester's Judgment. This time on the chopping block is Phantom Leader, a Vietnam Air War solitaire strategy game by DVG Games. So let's find out, does this game soar into the sky or does it burn out too early? Let's find out. We're going to go through, talk about the 5 things I really like about the game, 5 things I did not like at all about this game, and then give you our final judgment. Is this game worthy of your money, your time, and your effort to get this game? I should mention that this is a review of the first edition game from 2010. This is not a review of the of the deluxe edition that came out, I think, in 2013. This is my copy is obviously not the deluxe edition, but just the normal edition. Okay, so with all that said, let's talk about the 5 good things about this game. Why are they good? What do they bring to the table? And what can you look forward to in this game? So, the 5 good things is, starting with number 1, once I'm able to actually get that would be awesome. Number 1 is, it is as the title says, an Vietnam Air War solitaire strategy game. It's a solo game. So you can play this anytime you want. You don't have to try to convince your friends to play this game. You can play it without anybody and set it up and play it anytime you want. It's a solo game, which means also you can adjust things to your own liking. You can add rules, you can change rules, you can do whatever you want because the only person that's playing it is you. And however you can adjust and get into play it and enjoy it, that is what you should, change and do. So being a solo game allows you to do that. Number 2, it is designed to be a campaign play, which means you are progressing your planes or tanks or whatever your characters are in the game through the story mission. In this case, we're playing with Phantom Leader, so we're progressing our pilots and trying to get them going and trying to, there's different tracks that need to be adjusted based upon how well we do or how bad we do in the scenarios. So it's campaign play. It allows you to play through 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 missions that kind of link them together, and you can see how you do as you progress. Number 3. This is part of the DVG Leaders series. So it is, it is part of a series of games by DVG. And they all play very familiar and very similar. If you're familiar with any of the other Leader games, you should be able to pick up this one and play it. I literally got this in the mail yesterday, and within 12, 14 hours, I'm playing it just because A, I'm familiar with the Leader games, B, I'm familiar with the series and the systems, and yeah, it's not that complex a game to learn. So, but once you do learn the game, and if this is your first game in the series, Phantom Leader, once you learn it, it will definitely help you learn a lot of the other games in the Leader series as well. Number 4, they are playable scenarios. You're going through this campaign, but each of these scenarios only play maybe an hour or maybe 2 at the maximum to play through a scenario. They're not very long scenarios. You're going to send your airplanes on a mission. You're going to try and complete the mission, and then you're going to try and get back to your base and earn some rewards so you can go out and go on to another mission. So the fun thing is they are playable scenarios. They're not going to take you and bog you down too long. There's some missions you can get done in anywhere between half an hour to 45 minutes. And, it just depends on the size of the scenario. But yeah, it's definitely doable. It's definitely playable scenarios. So looking forward to doing that. Number 5. You do have a short campaign, a medium campaign, and a long campaign. So you can kind of fine tune your, how many missions you want to do. Do you want to play just 2 or 3 missions, or do you want to play 8 or 10 missions? So there is some nice variability there. And hey Tim, how you doing? Good to see you. It's good to see you. Yes, you had Phantom Leader on the iPad before it got taken off. Yes, so that was kind of a cool thing. They had a computer version of this as well. So thanks for joining me, guys. We are going through the 5 good things, the 5 best things that I found in Phantom Leader. And number 5 is the fact that it does have a short, a medium, and a long campaign. We played the short campaign. It was just 2 scenarios. We were able to play both of the scenarios in about an hour and a half, and we were done with the full campaign. But again, there's longer campaigns. There's 3 different campaigns in the box. You can link all 3 of those campaigns together, and you can really get into as much as you want out of this box. So that's all really good stuff, but is it all good? No, unfortunately it's not all good. We're going to have to talk about some of the cons with Phantom Leader. These are the things that just didn't sit right with me. The things I did not enjoy about Phantom Leader, and some, specifically about DVG as well. And number 1 is probably the biggest problem with DVG games is balancing issues. Every game that I have played from DVG has balancing issues. The scenarios are extremely difficult, extremely hard. They are not set up to be friendly or solo user easy. It is the amount of content you get and everything that's in the box. You have to kind of try to figure out where you should be in the power ranking versus the scenario that they put you up against. The scenario that we played through altered some of the core rules, which made it literally almost impossible for us to end up getting a good result on the campaign, because we were only able to take -2 planes on each one of our scenarios, which means our first scenario we would have only taken 1 plane, and we would not have been able to accomplish what we needed to accomplish. And the second scenario, we were only able to be taking 2 planes, and we still wouldn't have been able to complete our objectives that way. There is some severe balancing issues that DVG has been clueless on for years and years and years. And to be honest, it's extremely frustrating to know that you have got to try and figure out how to adjust things yourself, because if you play it straight on the box, good Lord, good luck to you. Number 2, oh my God, the rule books for all DVG games have got to be one of the worst in the industry. I don't know how they get away with this crap, to be honest. The rule books are horrible. This is no exception. The information sometimes, there is no information in the rule booklet about how you move from low to high or high to low. And that's part of the game, is moving your units from either high or low. In fact, on the counters, they have an H or an L to let you know if you're at high or low, but there's no information in the rule book about it. It is extremely frustrating to try and find any information in any DVG rule booklet, and this one is no exception. It is just not laid out right. You're constantly flipping through the pages. They don't get you enough information. The information they give you isn't accurate, or it isn't even correct sometimes. It is very frustrating. Number 3, Terrible play aids. Absolutely terrible play aids. Again, they don't even give you the information you need on them. A lot of the time, they don't even have sequence of play or anything available. There's no, if you go at the look at the back of the rule booklet, there's a picture of all their pretty games they sell. It's like they need to give you more information on the play aids. There's no reference to like a page number or rule number or anything. So if I'm like, oh, I'm reading the sequence of play and it says do this, I'm like, you could reference like what page number this is on, what rule number it is, something to let me know instead of having to go through the whole rule booklet and try and find what you're talking about. The play aids are just not well designed. I don't know who or why they do the things they do over at DVG. It's very frustrating. Again, that's the third time I've been very frustrated, and we're just getting to the started here because we got two more things to talk about. Number 4, especially for a YouTuber as myself, and I know a lot of people don't enjoy this either, but everything they have is so glossy. The player, the cards are super glossy. All their play aids are super glossy. If you play on a player board, it's super glossy. And of course, I'm a YouTuber, and I have to literally turn the lights off because otherwise everything is just going to blind you left and right. You cannot, and even if you're not a YouTuber and you're putting things out on the table and you have lights around, half of the boards you're not going to be able to read, or your cards you're not going to be able to see what they are because everything is so glossy. It's just so difficult. I don't know why. The rule booklet is glossy pages. You can be looking through the rule booklet and get blinded in the face from all of the glossiness. I don't understand how DVG gets away with their components and their quality. It's just horrible, in my opinion. And number 5, speaking of which, is number 5, lack of quality. This is overall we're talking about specifically Phantom Leader, and of course this is again not the deluxe edition from 2013. This is the first edition from 2010, so I don't know if any of this has been fixed in the deluxe edition or not. But the lack of quality in this shows off there is no counters, 0 counters when you take damage to notify your planes whether or not they've taken damage on them. There's no counters to tell you how much damage you've done to other units. It's just like, how am I supposed to do this? Now, it's just the quality or the lack of quality shows in everything that DVG does. The lack of quality in their rule booklets, the lack of quality on their play aids, the lack of quality in their scenarios, and the lack of balancing in them. It's just, it lacks polish, it lacks professionalism, it lacks, quality that would impress you to want to purchase other games of the series. So, 5 good things, 5 bad things, which and how important are they? So let's talk about the verdict. What do I feel about the DVG and specifically Phantom Leader? To be honest, I bought this secondhand from Noble Knight because I had to pick up an expansion for my Hornet Leader. And I thought, I'll get Phantom Leader as well. And at the time, I didn't realize there was a first edition and a second edition. I thought I was getting a good deal at $40. And then I get the first edition, and I'm like, this is the first edition, and it costs $40. And so I went to look and see the second edition was like $80. And I'm like, wow, okay. And that's part of the problem with DVG in general is they have this weird mechanism where they think their games are worth a lot more than they really are. In this game specifically, Phantom Leader First Edition, there is 3 campaigns, and of those campaigns, You can play them either as the Navy or the Air Force, one or the other. But there's only 3 campaigns. So you're not getting a whole bunch of stuff in this box. I know the DVG games have been known to have like 6 different levels for each of the different pilots. That's not in this game. The first edition only has a pilot that has a set rating, and then you upgrade him to their backside, and that's all the upgrades you can do on them. Which is kind of frustrating. Is that DVG seems to be under the impression that their games are worth a lot more than they really are. The only reason I ended up getting this is because I thought I was getting an $80 game for $40. I would never in a million years pay $40 for this first edition game if I would have known it was a first edition game. DVG, again, think that their games are worth a lot more than they really are. They think all of their stuff is worth a lot more than they are. They charge you for their vassal modules. They charge you. We looked at it earlier when I played through the game. There is an expansion you can get for Phantom Leader that has 4 metal, small little dinky metal planes, and they're charging people $69 for those 4 metal airplanes that are tiny, like maybe 1 inch by 1 inch planes. And they're charging people $69 for those things. I can't believe that they are trying to get away with that. That is ridiculous. The fact that they even charge you $80 for their advanced deluxe editions is crazy. Absolutely crazy. This Phantom Leader first edition game, I don't know how much it was originally, but $40, it's still not even worth the $40. It's probably a $30 game, to be honest. There's only a few cards, a stack of maybe 100 cards or so, maybe 120 cards. There's not a lot of cards in the game. The event deck is very thin. There's only maybe, 15 to 20 cards for the event cards. It's just their lack of quality, their lack of their attention to detail is not good. They do not put some effort into creating things for their customers. They do not take care of their customers. And again, if I was trying to buy this game, I would never buy $40 for their game. And it really is a turnoff when you play their game and you're frustrated, and then you're more frustrated, and then you end up very frustrated at the end. Maybe I should have waited a day or two to do the review on this, but I'm not going to because I might as well say my piece while I get the chance. Phantom Leader, in my opinion, is a 60 out of 100. It is barely, and I'm talking just barely, a fine game. Anything below 60, it would be bad. It is just barely made the fine. And if I had more to think about, I would probably even lower it even farther than that. If I had more time to think about exactly everything that goes into them. Again, their lack of production quality, their lack of giving you the correct information, their balancing structure, which is all over the place. You can't find one iota of how do I want to put it? You can't find a way to complete any game, and I'm talking any game that I've played in their series, any leader game, without trying to adjust and fine tune it yourself. It's like they're just giving you all the information, and then they're like, figure out what to do with it, because we don't know what to do with it, because the scenarios we create are imbalanced. They give you stupid rules. The scenario that I played, this is Phantom Leader, right? This should be about air-to-air combat, and it should be about air-to-ground combat. The mission we played was called Into the South, and it basically had a special rule where you would not, there would be no enemy bogeys in the campaign. There's no enemy bogeys in the campaign. So, like, literally half the game is out of... You have... What kind of campaign is that? What kind of mission are those? It's like, are you serious? I'm playing a Phantom Leader scenario, the first scenario in the box, and it's just like, oh, yeah, by the way, you're not going to encounter any enemy bogeys. You don't load any enemy bogeys. You get rid of all the SAM sites, and then you get -2 to the number of planes you can take on a mission. So when we drew the first mission, it was 2 planes. Like, what are you supposed to do if you can only take 2 planes and you're -2? Is there anything in the rule book about that? Do we not take any planes on the mission then? It's like it's like they make up these things on the fly. I don't think they test anything. I don't think they play test anything. I don't think they care to play test anything. They want to try and pump more shit out. They want to pump out more and more crap and try to charge people $20, $40, $80, $100 for their crappy games. It's ridiculous. And if I was smart and I would probably try to just get rid of all the games that I have. And in fact, I'm thinking about actually going through and getting rid of calling all of my DVG games because they're just not worth the time, the investment. They get very frustrating. I've not been through a single campaign and had a good time with any of their games. I've played 4 or 5 of their different games. I have had 0 fun with their games. The games are supposed to be fun. That's why we play them. They're not. They're not fun. They're frustrating. Trying to learn the games are frustrating. Trying to learn how to play the games are frustrating. Playing the games are frustrating because the scenarios are so imbalanced. It's just very upsetting. And so that is the verdict. Phantom Leader is just, and I'm talking just barely fine. If it would have been a 59, it would be bad. So I would not recommend Phantom Leader First Edition to anyone out there unless you are a diehard Leader fan and you're looking for another way to punish yourself. That is all I have to say about that. Yeah, I know they're buying stuff, but, yeah, I mean, I think I talked about this earlier. I think I own 6 or 7. I own Tiger Leader, Sherman Leader, Nimitz Leader, Hornet Leader, Phantom Leader, Thunderbolt Apache Leader, Napoleon Leader. I'm trying to think if there's any of the others. So I own like 7 of their games, and I've played like 4 or 5 of them, and I've had 0 fun playing them. It's just one of these systems that you think, oh, it sounds so good. And you spend all this money, like $80 on their deluxe edition boxes. And you think, oh, all right, here we go. We're going to have some fun with this. And it's a pain in the ass trying to learn how to play the game. And once you try to figure out and try to get through the rule booklet, then you try to set up the game. And then when you start playing, you have all these questions about what I should be doing. How am I supposed to be doing this? And then as you play through this first scenario, you're completely getting destroyed and going, I must be doing this wrong. Because, I mean, how am I supposed to destroy this SAM site? Like, our second scenario, we are only allowed to bring 2 planes with us. 2 planes. Okay? And there was 4 enemy installations in the center. And then our site that we had to blow up, we had to do 8 points of damage to it. Now, mind you, every missile that we shoot either does 1 or possibly 2 points of damage to it. So we have to kill the 4 enemy sites that are there. And then we need to do 8 points of damage with just 2 planes. Somebody explain to me how you can even do that. Somebody, please. I would love to see a YouTube video showing us how to play this scenario. Because I would love to see it. It would show me, it would show DVG how broken ass their company is and how their lack of quality, their lack of balance, their crappy production is not worth what they're charging their customers. And I would highly, and I'm talking highly recommend that you do not invest in any DVD game, and especially any of the leaner system. It has been zero fun for me. If any of you guys have had fun with this system, you let me know in the comments section down below. I'd love to hear about it. And of course, if you disagree with my verdict and you have something else you want to say, I would love to watch your video. Put a link to your video down in the section below, because I would love to hear what others think of this game as well. I have had no fun with their games, and it's because of the reason that we said. And again, there is some good things. It is a solo game. It's a solo system. It's campaign, which allows you to fine-tune it yourself. But I wasn't designing the game. I shouldn't have to balance the game myself, and I shouldn't have to come up with house rules to try and fix their game. That's their job. That's what I'm paying them to do. And when you pay somebody to do it and they don't do it, why buy their games? That's all I'm saying. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button if you agree. If you disagree, hit the down button. I don't care. And then leave your comments down in the comments section down below. We would love to hear from everyone. And until next time, my friends, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you all soon. Until then, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you all down the line. Bye for now.